Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel and thanks for logging on. If you enjoy these videos, do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel right here at Watchbox Reviews. I would really appreciate it, and I promise to update daily. If you like this watch, you can see it and you can purchase it on our website, thewatchbox.com. Today we discuss the Bell & Ross Experimental Series BR-X1 Carbone Forgé, a 2015 limited series of 250 pieces in the titular material forged carbon, but also titanium and ceramic. The combination of the three, individually quite light, is, not surprisingly, lighter than you would expect for a 45mm square watch. So it sits easily on my 16cm circumference wrist, and you can see it in proportion, especially when I move away from the lens. It's an easy watch to wear. At 53.2mm lug-to-lug, it wears almost exactly the shape and size of a 44mm Panerai Luminor. So if you're familiar with those Betterini case 44mm classical Luminors, this wears like that, only lighter on the wrist. And it's probably thinner than you expect. Despite being an automatic winding modular chronograph and a fairly aggressive style, it's under 15mm thick at 14.9, which means you can absolutely fit this watch underneath a cuff. Not perhaps of a dress sleeve, but definitely of a formal jacket. The timepiece, 45 by 45, is minimalist about its lugs, but maximalist about its strap. One feature I love of Bell & Ross is that they give you a broad lug stance and a matching broad strap. Many brands give you big watches with narrow straps or bracelets. The result is that they look ill-proportioned and tend to move around. Not the case here. A tapered strap with thoughtful ridges and striations to give it definition. It also features pockets on both sides on the underside to reduce the amount of material, making it more flexible and supple on the wrist, but also to allow the wrist to breathe. Thoughtful design. You can see that these angled apertures allow the pin buckle to buckle and hold more securely, and the pin buckle is a thoughtfully rendered titanium piece, blackened titanium, with a combination of bevels and facets to remind you that Bell & Ross, though manufacturing in Switzerland, is a Parisian design house first and foremost. The case will be familiar, and we've had a few years to digest the details of the experimental line, as well as the general profile of the landmark 2005 Bell & Ross instrument series, which this watch parallels in its general design language. It is very much the instrument series from 2005, but upgraded with what Bell & Ross likes to call motorsports-inspired imagery, and nowhere is that more obvious than the top of the case. The top of the case, which is also an integral component with the bezel, is all of forged carbon. Now, you know this material from Audemars Piguet in particular. It is a pulp of carbon, so a large amount of material that is pressed into a mold and then cured in an autoclave so it will not continue to warp or change its dimensions over time. It's effectively flash frozen by heat. So you have that material on the top and the unique textured appearance it creates. It's different from woven carbon fiber in that this is a dense composite with materials moving every which way and thus far stronger than conventional woven carbon fiber cloth. The crown rockers, and I should mention the crown flanking rockers as well as guards, are of ceramic, so you have these rocker-style triggers for the chronograph, and they provide a measure of security for the triggers underneath. You can see they're actually covers for the chronograph triggers. So the ceramic, robustly scratch-resistant, also the rocker-style trigger protecting the chronograph mechanism itself. The crown, which is shouldered with rubber for easy gripping, is a screw-down unit, which leads me to take the 100-meter water resistance rating of the watch seriously. And the basic case itself is made of titanium, so black titanium, a small aperture for seeing the balance as well as the rotor on the case back, individual numbering, 100-meter water resistant, and then you can see the dial is nice and open. It is a Bell & Ross caliber BR-313, 56 joules, automatic winding, 48-hour power reserve. It features both a quick set for the date and hacking or stop seconds. What it is essentially is a ETA 2892 base with a Dubois de Praz skeletonized chronograph module on top. You have an aluminum rotor that acts as the chronograph minutes indicator, and you can see it turns over every 60 seconds in advance along its track. It is a scrolling rather than a jumping type, and there is a sapphire beneath the sapphire, so you have the sapphire cover, and then you have the tachymeter ray halt that runs down to the base where you have applied indices over a second smoked sapphire, and you can see underneath the PVD blackened and skeletonized module for the chronograph, as well as the skeletonized date disc that runs around the dial. There is a white underlay that provides visibility in relief so you can see the date, but then you can't see the rest of the wheel. It's a wonderful exercise in opening the machine, taking the machine from the inside and bringing it out. This is a timepiece that beats away at 28,800 vibrations per hour. It's ETA tough, but with an element of art and artistry about its dial design that appeals to the technophile who's generally drawn to luxury watches in the first place. Bell & Ross to the max. This is the Bell & Ross BR-X1 Carbone Forgé, titanium, carbon fiber, and ceramic. See it on the watch box. And I'm back with the Bell & Ross BR-X1, forged carbon and all blacked out by day, murdered out in the sunlight, bright like the sun at night. You can see this one in full daylight with boxes, papers, and accessories on the watch box.